Good evening. CPR Environmental Education Centre, Chennai welcomes you to our online program, Our Environment, Our Lifeline. Today the topic is sacred tanks. நீரின்றி அமையாது உலகெனின் யார் யார்க்கும் வானின்று அமையாது ஒழுக்கு. திருக்குறள். The world cannot exist without water if there will be no ceaseless supply of rainfall. Tirukkural. A tank normally refers to a dugout reservoir with steps on all sides reaching down to the water. The excavations at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro reveal deep rectangular constructions that were probably the earliest tanks built in India. Temple tanks are examples of pond ecosystem. They have their own biotic and abiotic components. The temple tanks are known as Kovil Kulam in Tamil, Kulam in Malayalam, Kalyani in Kannada, Pushkarni in Telugu, and Kund in Hindi. The water is used for the ritual bathing of the deities and is deemed to be sacred water from the river Ganga. Due to the divine and holy nature of water, it is also called Dirtha, which means sacred. Traditionally, South Indian settlements are located in and around the temples. At least one tank is attached to every temple. The water in temple tanks is used for the sacred bath of deities in temple, religious ceremonies, Teppam or float festival, cultivation of aquatic plants, fish culture. The water from the temple tank is mainly meant for the ritual bath of the deity and to provide water for the flowering plants in the Nandavanam or garden. Pilgrims having a sacred bath at Kudagu, the river Kaveri origin. Religious ceremonies taking place. Teppam or float festival, the presiding deity is taken on a flower decorated float to rest in the Neerali Mandapam. Cultivation of aquatic plants in temple tanks. Fish culture. Agriculture in South India is traditionally based upon small-scale irrigation from tanks. Tanks play an important role in the ecology of the surrounding area. Temple tanks act as good indicators of the aquifer level. They are effective for recharging groundwater, improving the water table in and around the temple tanks. The design of the bund and sluices is a formidable engineering task. Inlet and outlet channels are laid for filling and emptying the tank. You can see the inlet and outlet. Big tanks attached to temples were provided with deep wells by which the water table was recharged when the tank was full. Temple tanks trap rainwater and act as flood control devices. Most of the temple tanks have a perennial water source to keep the surroundings moist and cool and harbor dense and varied flora. The flora are in turn found to support various animals, including visiting birds and butterflies, fishes, frogs, sponges, worms, and zooplankton. Preservation and multiplication of medicinal plants. The survey of the temple tanks of Kerala shows that the tanks shelter in their vicinity several medicinal plants of great value, not only for primary health care of village communities, but also those important in pharmacopoeia. Threats to the sacred tanks: urbanization, encroachment, overexploitation. Most of the temple tanks are vanishing or have vanished in the past 20 to 30 years due to encroachments and pollution. Pollution of sacred tanks, garbage dumping, chemical detergents while washing, temple tanks were a brilliant innovation for harvesting and store rainwater. By linking tanks to temples, their construction became a religious duty whereby people earned merit even as they contributed to society's welfare. By discarding traditions, we are destroying systems that sustained Indian society and made life endurable. Water is essential for life. It is not a luxury. Its provision and protection must be the first duty of the government and the people. Please write your suggestions and feedback to our official email ID cpreec@gmail.com. Subscribe us on YouTube to get notifications. To join the next meeting, link will be shared shortly to your email ID and WhatsApp. Good evening. We welcome you back. For the remaining time, the session is open for discussions. Please unmute yourselves. Come for discussions. Participants, we welcome you back to the session. For the remaining time, the session is open for discussions. You may please unmute yourselves and come up for discussions. Since there are no questions from your side, dear participants, we thank you for your participation. We are ending the session for today. Thank you all.